are in the assembly process, first part of the assembly process of the Waltham 1883 model 18S 17 Joule. So the first part we're going to do is we're going to assemble the clutch part here. What we need to do is get the parts, and we have this part. This actually goes the other way. If I can get it. Man, this mat is really come back here. Where are you going? Alright. And then this part slides in there. And then this part slides in there. So what we need to do is we need to get some grease on this part, because that'll slide in here. We're going to get some lubrication. We're going to be using Molykote DX. Okay, don't do that. Alright, so we're going to get a little bit of Molykote DX here. We don't need a lot. When I assembled this, or disassembled it, there was literally nothing in here. No lubrication whatsoever. So this is actually going to be really, better. Come on, go in there. Okay. Oops, yep, slide all around. So that's how that goes. The stem goes into there and turns. So this is the inside. So now we have this part, which we need to put a little bit of lubrication on that too. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of A2 or Molykote DX on there too. Probably a little too much. Put that back. Now this part slides into here. Okay, so that, whoops. Okay, so that's a lubricated clutch assembly. Now this part clutch assembly goes into here, so we need to make sure these holes are down, because that's where we'll use to. Now this might be tricky because oh jeez. So this part is going to be tricky because I need to take it out of the holder and see if I can line those holes up, which I think that looks pretty good. I mean, hey, I should actually probably use some Rodico. Okay, so now that we've got the holes lined up with the Rodico, holding that's where it's supposed to be so that I can see the holes in there, we have to now get these screws into the proper hole. Whoa, that was easy. That's way too easy. Okay, good. So now let's try to get these started. Okay, I think that's good. Let's take a look on the other side. That will hold. You see that that will goes freely. And you can see that that pin here is held by this spring right there, held in place. It's not going to move out because it's caught there by that spring. This should be fine. Okay, so now what's the next part? Okay, so now we're going to put the motion works in. Now that we have the clutch assembly in there, we do have the parts. We have this gear goes in there. This gear goes in here. Now this is the holds it all together. That goes in there, and this little hole here has to set in onto this little pin. And then we have the actual lever and the smallest gear here, which is right there, and that goes on there, and that's held up with that spring. So this is going to be interesting. I think I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take a little bit of Molykote DX, and we're just going to put it on here, because we're going to need some there anyway, because that's a part that moves. And then we're just going to put this gear into that hole, and hopefully that Molykote will hold that. Like that. Now I don't know if that's going to work, but all we got to do is just got to try. So this gear here has a bevel right here and a little inset so that accepts the screw. That goes right here. Oh, you know what we need to do? These need to be lubricated because these are parts that move against each other. So we're going to put a little bit of Molykote. I think I'm out just about on these gears. Yeah, I think we're put some on here too. And in here, because that is actually steel on steel. So this wheel will go right here. This wheel here, and because that little wheel slides again on that pinion on a screw, I'm going to put it just a little bit. I need to put a little bit more on here inside that little ridge. Of course, I'm probably doing this wrong. Let's see, this slides in here, goes onto here, and I need to line that up with that. Oh, you know what I need to do first? Probably need to put this on. Come on. Don't do that. Alright. So this goes onto here. And then it goes down. And this screw or this spring goes underneath that gear to hold it up. Okay, so after much fiddling, we have it in there. Whew. That's a hard little part to get in there. Okay, so I'm going to use okay. Okay. Let me tighten that down just a touch more. There we go. So now this should move back and forth. That's a little too tight. Alright, so this moves back and forth. To engage the wheel there. And as far as I can tell, that is supposed to be how that works. Okay, so I found the problem. The reason why this was not moving smoothly like it's supposed to. Where's my little winder here? See, this was not moving very smoothly. It was really chunky and it would not actually move, and you couldn't push this. Like when you're pushing this down, see how that little gear moves to engage the that's how you do the set the time. And when you're coming back, when that's off, this will engage the barrel. So it was really not moving hardly at all, and it was really hard. It wasn't smooth like this. So the problem was that this here, let's see, this little pinion right here, little pin, was off the side here. So this whole spring was way over here. So it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. This was set properly, but this was jumped over. So I had to move this little pin into between these two little pins. There, you can see. And now it moves like that. That was the problem. So once I figured that out and then put it in properly, now we have that works, that moves properly, and that's what it's supposed to do. So that took a little bit of time to figure that out, but that's why you take pictures. And then I just went back through the video and realized that that wasn't wrong, that wasn't right. So anyway, that's the motion works so far. So I'm not exactly sure what the next part is. I'll have to look at that, but we'll be right back. Okay, so the next part that we're going to do now is the click and the ratchet wheel. So we have the ratchet wheel here, the click here, the screw for the spring and the cover. And now what we're going to do is we'll take that out. Okay, so that is going to be very, very interesting. So what we're going to do first, I think, is we're just going to set the ratchet wheel in. And that just goes in there. Oh, you know what we're going to do first? Before that, just going to put a little bit of lubricant underneath there, because that is part that moves a lot. That's probably too much. Perfect. Because that's basically steel on steel, and that, as that moves in back and forth, that'll engage that to turn to wind the mainspring. Okay, so now we're going to do the click, and the click, there's a little side cutout to accept this. Not sure why they did that, but that's the way they did it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of lubricant in here in the bottom for that click. And of course we got to set it in the right way. That goes like that, and that engages back and forth. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more in here underneath. It doesn't look like much, but that's a lot. So the next thing we're going to do is, before we do that, we're just going to put a little bit behind where the click spring will engage, because that's right in here. And now the scary part, the click spring. Now, as we set it in there, first thing we're going to do is get our trusty rodicle, because I do not trust this thing. I've spent a lot of time looking for these springs and gotten a little smarter over a couple times, because this will not allow it to go away. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move that click spring back into where it's supposed to go. Okay, so now it's in there, right there. Now before I do anything, screw goes in, because using the screw here will go in, and that will secure the click spring from running away on me. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take this rodicle off, because that's not going anywhere. And of course the click spring came off on the rodicle, because that's what happens. There we go. Oh, backwards. That's how we do it there. Okay. spring. There we go. Okay, so now we have that. So when then that engages, let's try that. So when that engages, and it won't let the ratchet wheel come back, this little part here goes into the center arbor of the barrel, and when you push in there, okay, that looks like it's working very well. That is exactly how we want it to go. So now all we have to do now is put the cover on. The cover will go here. Now, where is that spring or the screw for that? I believe that's right here. Should have had that out already. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now comes the part we're going to put the train together. So we've got the clutch, we've got the motion works, the click, and the ratchet wheel done. So now it's time to put the train on. So now the only part we're going to grease, we're going to put some Moly Coat DX on the center wheel pivot, or the fifth wheel, because that's a lower RPM gear, and so that takes thicker grease. So now where is there it is. I take a little bit of Moly. Where to put it on the center wheel? That's way too much. Okay. Now I can remember how this goes. We're going to put third wheel, which I believe is this guy. Then we put the center wheel. This is the one that will put the crown pinion. Is that right? Crown pinion. And then we'll have the third wheel, which will go right here. And then we'll there we go. And then we have the escape wheel. Now this is the hard part, because this escape wheel is so small and those pivots are so small. And that goes in there like that. Okay, so now let's check to see if it actually moves. Okay, good. Now we have to put, before we put the center plate on, we have to put the barrel on, and I didn't take the barrel apart. You know, just don't feel comfortable doing that yet again, so we're just going to do it this way. We are going to put some moly on the bottom here, right where that moves, not on the gears, but just on the just on here, and a little bit on here because it moves against it, actually rides against that. Again, I'm probably doing this wrong, which is fine. I am not a professional. And so this will drop in there. Where are you? There we go. And we can see that moves fairly free. Of course, it's not going to move great because it's not locked down, but it does move freely. Okay, so that's that part. So now the hard part is getting the balance or the pallet fork on there, and I think what I'm going to do is put some Rodico on that, just like I did before. First, we're going to take that out. I have had them soaking in Ronsol, the balance and the pallet fork. So let's take that out. Not ready for the balance yet, so we'll put that back away. Okay, so the balance wheel pivot, which is that right here, that has to go. Which way does that go now, though? Does it go this way? Okay, so this little trick here, in order for me to get the pallet fork into that little pivot in between the banking pins, which are right here, what I did was took a little piece of Rodico, once I had it set properly in there, and then just put some Rodico in there to hold it in, so that when I put the top plate on top of here, hopefully that will hold. Just trying to think, do I have everything before I close this up? Do I have everything that I need in there? Yes. So this is the stressful part, because all these little pivots have to line up. Otherwise, this will not go, will not work. Now, is that? Yeah, see, I've already screwed that up. The, actually, this, Yep, that needs to come out. It got stuck on the rodicle, so the rodicle is a little bit farther over than where it should be. So we'll just put that pivot back, or the escape wheel was hitting the rodicle. And so that goes like here. Like that. So that little piece of rodicle was over too far. Was hitting that. So let's try that again. Line that up. Oops. And let's see if we screwed that up again. Very, very gentle. And yeah, so we need to adjust that piece of rodicle. It wants to fix that. So let me do that and come back. Okay, so we're ready to give this another try. I've adjusted that to see whether or not that will work. This is probably the hardest part and the most stressful part of reassembly, because if you don't get this right, you can massively screw up your watch. So before we do that, we're going to put some, oops, yeah. So before we do anything, we're going to put the case screws in. Or the plate screws. Okay, so that's okay, right. These are the case screws here. So I just realized that that's a blue screw. That one screw is blue, where the other ones aren't. So that's interesting. Which means these two are not correct, because this has a blue hairspring. And I forgot to show you that, but it actually does have a blue hairspring. So maybe I'll look at my parts to see if I can find a couple screws to replace that with. And all we're going to do is just tighten these down a little bit, because we don't want to bust anything. Those pivots are so touchy and so small that any tiny little bit of pressure and tightening this down could really cause a problem and bust those pivots. And then you'll have a really bad day. Because then you'll be looking for parts. So now we have to just try and see if we can move those pivots into the proper spots. And did that actually work? there. So I'll mess with this off camera and then we'll figure it out. Okay, so I finally did, as I think I've told you, got the pivots in to everything into the drivetrain, and that seems to be working fine. I did give it a little bit of a wind, so we'll take our little tool here. Okay, so that is winding and the click is working. And let's take a quick peek, see if we can see if the it's not going to spring back and forth. I don't believe, because there's no oil in here yet. So oh yeah, it does spring back and forth. So with the wind on the barrel, it should now engage with the escape wheel, and when you give it a little tap, it should flick back and forth, and that lets you know that the train is working properly, which it is. So let's get the bridge back on, the cover back onto the bridge, or onto the barrel, I mean. So what I did find out, that we did have, see, one blue screw. This is a special edition watch. The hairspring is blue. I mean, this is a 17 jewel watch. It's a little bit upscale. There was one blue screw, and the other two were not. So that obviously didn't make any sense to me. Although that one does look blue. Is that a blue screw? No, it's not. So this is the only blue screw that was in the movement. All the rest were just steel. They weren't blued. So what I did was I had a whole bunch of 1883 movements, Walthams, model 1883, and I have 4 or 5 of them that had to have blue screws. So in order to make this look nice, better, or the way it's probably supposed to be, I just went and changed those screws. Whoops, off of that model, one of those models, to here, and they're the same screws. And this will make a big difference in the way the watch looks, because this is correct. Oh, okay, that's weird. I got that in there first try. Okay, so let's get these screws in there. And that just looks 100 times better than just having one blue screw and then the other steel. It doesn't look right? It's not. It's probably those screws are, you know, who knows what happened to this movement, right? Okay, that's nice and snug. All right, so there we go. Now we have the 3 blued screws like we're supposed to, and the train runs properly, so everything looks like it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be there. Well, it's the way it's supposed to be. So on this side, the only thing we have to do now is install the balance, but we don't do that yet. What we need to do is we need to put the rest of this works together here. So let's get this lined up properly. Is this upside down? Yeah, there we go. That's probably why it wouldn't stay on there properly, is because it's on the wrong side. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay, so now we have, the only thing we have left now is the hour wheel and the other cannon pinion, the hour wheel, and then I think this is, I'm not exactly sure what this was called again. Intermediate wheel, cannon pinion, hour wheel, intermediate wheel, not sure. And the other thing that I did realize is that these jewels, even though they have screws, they're pressed in. They don't have two parts. This is just a one part. It just goes all the way through. So these jewels didn't need to be, if you can see down in there, I'll take that out actually. I'll take a look at it. These right here, you can see they got little screws holding the jewel in. But those jewels, normally what I would think would be there would be two parts. There'd be the flat part underneath, or the dome, or the concave, and then would be flat with no hole, and then this part would be the jewel that goes in with the hole for the pivot, and you put the oil in between the two and put them back together and then slap it in there and screw it down. But these go right through. There is only one piece. I mean, it's an old watch, right? I mean, I don't know when they came up with that, but obviously this one doesn't have that. So I'm always turning that around here. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Come on. Get it done. Oh yeah, right. That's why. It's upside down. And we're gonna slap her in there. Get her snug down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put the hour wheel. Wait a second here. What's going on? Did I screw that up again? No. Right, because that, and we're going to put a little bit of DX, Monocoat DX on that, because these a little bit on here too, because that's gonna need it on the cannon pinion, or on the center wheel. Okay, so let's get my so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna put this intermediate wheel in there. There we go, and then we're going to put the cannon pinion on, because the cannon, then that goes over top of that. So put the cannon pinion on, we'll go put that down. This one came off really easy. Just have to line that up with that gear. There we go, and then we'll put a little bit more. A little bit of Monocoat. I think, did we put that on there? Yeah, because that still has to slide. Right? For our wheel. Okay. I think that's it. So all we need to do now is we need to oil the jewels. And that's going to take me, oh, looks like we got a loose screw here maybe. Let me double check that. Make sure everything's nice and snug. Yep, so I think we're good there. The only thing left to do is to put the dial washer on, put the dial on, and then put the hands back on. And the case, I have done a little bit of polishing. The first part of the polish, I've used DX Black, and then the second part of the polish I'm going to do Dialux Black, and then Dialux White. I'll probably use new wheels. This will be the final polish for the case, and then that will be done. So let's I gotta figure out the oiling, and then I will come right back. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this is probably wrong, so don't get upset. like I say, I am not a professional. You're not really supposed to oil the pallet fork, but I am going to do that, you know, just because. So there we go, right here is the escape wheel. We're going to use 9010 on that because that runs fast. That would be the third wheel. These two will get a tiny bit of 9010. Okay, so that'll get 9010. Boom. And then that one will get 9010. Okay. Now we got to get my other one because we're going to use HP 1300. And so we're going to use some HP 1300 for this wheel. Okay, I believe that is all we need for there. Oops. So okay, so now that we have the balance out of the Ronisol, I check the position of the pallet fork. I'll make it over on that side. So when we take the balance, you'll see there's a little pin. You can't see that, a little pin right here. That has to engage that. So we're going to put it in this way. So that pin is farther over. And then it will hopefully, that's just a hack job, that is. This runs, I'll be amazed. Okay, it's not running that great. I mean, that is not real great. Do you know what? I'll take it. So now where is the screw? Did I put the screw in the wrong sole? So, okay, so that would be a shame to put a silver screw or whatever in with all these blue screws, because it would not look very well, very good, right? Because you can see that this, I don't know if you can see that hairspring is blue. So now why does that stop running? We have to tighten it down. So what I've done is I have an old movement. Now this has all the blue screws in it, so I just bored them off there, right? Because I want it to look nice. And there you have a nice blued screw. See if we can see that. How nice that looks. Get that in there. Okay, so it should fit, obviously, because, well, this is where I got the other screws from. Tighten that down and away you go. So then we'll take this screw, we'll put it back into the balance of this other one. Okay, that's actually running way better. For some reason that didn't work very well, but it is actually running fairly strong. Oh, maybe not. I mean, hey, you got to give it some slack. It's a 100-year-old watch. No, actually it's a 117-year-old watch. You know, redone by a hack, but it is running. So next thing we have to do now is put the dial on and then put it in the case. Okay, so this is just going to be a quick video before and after the polishing of the case. Just getting ready to put it in a ultrasonic to clean it, and then after that, then I'm going to do the polishing, but I'm not going to subject you to that because that's pretty boring. But I do want to just show you what this case is like before the polishing and after. So what we're going to do is take the bezel off. Okay, so let's take a look. You can see how scuffed it is around the sides, and the crystal itself is, she's seen better days. This one is glued in, I believe. It's a fairly thick 1 or 2 millimeter on the side. I love these kind of bezels. They do make them a lot thicker, and I think it would look really cool with this watch, but I'd have to go buy one, and I'm waiting to get a few orders, and I'd like to buy like 3 or 4 or 5 for the different projects that I have before that. I don't want to spend the money to get just one and then pay for shipping for each single one. I'm gonna wait until I get an order like 5 or 6 or whatever, and then put it all in at once and get them all shipped out, and then change them all. But yeah, this one here, I don't know if you can see that number. What is that? 70. I can't even see that without my magnifier. $7084 is that number, and that's the same number as on here. 7084, and on the back, which is called 7084. So these are matching. These are supposed to go together. So that is the bezel, and we'll just take the back off real quick. Show you that. It does have a little dent there. I'm not going to be able to fix that, of course, but you know, minimal kind of design around the side. Pretty scratched up. Inside is of course a little better, but really dirty. Which is, I guess that's, you know, par for the course for an old watch like this, even though the movement is extremely clean. But this should come out really nice. I'm hoping. I don't think this crown is original because it's kind of a gold color, where this is like a silver. So I do have like a million of these things, and bows, and also stems and that kind of thing, but I don't have the tools to take this off and do it, fix it. Not exactly sure how you would even do that, but anyway, this is the case, and so with that, it will go into the ultrasonic and clean, and then just like that, we are back, and the case is clean and polished. I think it turned out really good. Again, it's amazing what you can do with a simple polish. I just use my Dremel with some here. Let me show you. Got this off eBay, or I mean Amazon. It's just a kit. Has some thicker ones for a little bit deeper grinding, and then some polishing ones here. The white ones are polishing, and they just go on my Dremel. And once it's clean, of course, then you give it a nice good polish, polishing with the Dialux. I think you can use either Dialux black or white as a final, but I usually use black as a preliminary, and then the white as the final. This crystal is going to need to be changed. I could not bring it back to life. I mean, it'll work for now, but you know, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna get one that's a little thicker. That is a 2 millimeter. I think this is like a 1. I have other watches with the same type of crystal and bezel that are a lot thicker, and I really like that. I really like that look. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, you can get them for $10-15 on eBay. But again, look at that. It turned out, I think it turned out smashing. I mean, for a 100-year-old watch, actually 117-year-old watch. I don't know how old the case is, but the watch is definitely 117 years old. And the case, well, could be. I mean, there's a number in there, but I haven't taken the time to research that. That's a little tougher to do. But there you go, case, voila. And now we are at the final stages of this project. This now will be the recasing. You can see I wound, this is about 2 or 3 days later. I wind it every morning and it's still going. Still looks, you know, like she's working. So, you know, there's that. What we're going to do now is we're going to recase this. First we're going to do is put the dial back on. Now, I do not have any case washers. I mean, most of the pocket watches that I do have, when I checked, most of them don't have dial washers. So, hey, whatever. I put this through the ultrasonic too, and this is a really nice dial. A couple hairline fractures, but boy, I tell you, that's really nice. Single sunk. So what we'll do is we'll put this back on the holder. I don't really know that we have to do that, but you know, just because. Okay. So now where is the second hand here? That's not on there properly there. Where are you? There you are. It's gonna set the dial on. Come on. Am I doing that wrong? Is that in the wrong one? No. I am. Because I'm an idiot. I told you. There you go. So let's do up the... We'll just take that out. That kind of gets in the way. We'll just hold that. And then we'll put these dial screws back in. And I did grab another dial screw that I was missing from an old project. Like I say, I have a lot of these old pocket watches, and it's good because then you get parts, right? Plus I got that big score from eBay, or from auction. iCollector is what it was, not eBay. And we're just going to turn these in. There you go. And now is the time, I believe. Oh, you know what we do have to do though first? Is we have to put the protector back on, or the dust cover. This will go. I shined that up a little bit too, so it looks really nice. Line that up nicely. Hopefully. Come on. There we go. Just make sure that's on good. That turned out really nice. I just love the design on there. That blue screws are really set that off. You can still see the blue hairspring. Yeah, this is nice. So what we're going to do now is take the case and recase this. This is backwards, and we're just going to recase this now. Put it back in its home. Come on, where are you? There we go. Okay, so then we have that in there. We have to put the case screws in. Where did I put those? Here they are. And I also changed these two. I didn't have any blued ones. I changed that one was a full screw. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I just put I just changed them both. Into the half screws, which I believe is accurate. There you go. Okay. Let's see if we can get this set in here. There's one. There's two. Okay, so we have the dowel screws in. You can screw on the back now. The back turned out really nice. It's pretty scratched up, but I mean, hey, you know, it's old. And then now we'll put the bezel back on. Oh no, we can't. We have to put the hands on. That's right. And so we'll put that to the side for now. And I do have the hands. Get my better tweezers out. Move some of this stuff out of the way. Let's try. Hopefully I don't bump the camera. Let's get the second hand on first, if we can. Okay. I think that's good. So now we'll put the hour hand on. And where is my there we go. And now we'll put the minute hand on. Oh, turnover. Okay. That's pretty close, eh? We'll just set it on there. I think we're good. Let's give it a wind, see if that will clear. That does clear. We'll just go all the way around here just to make sure. Is that clear? That is just clearing, yep. Sorry for being so shaky. That's what happens. Oh wow, okay, something's wrong there. So let's, maybe I didn't put that on far enough. Let's take that off again. I suspect I didn't put the hour hand down far enough. Don't think it's sunk down far enough. Now the problem with that is I don't have the proper size hand. These are for smaller watches. You can buy these and they have the little tips on the end where you can push down on the hands. These ones are too small. Or, yeah, and I don't have a... I have to get a set. But yeah, that's what the problem was. So let's take that off first. I don't want to damage that. That's a lot lower actually now. It should clear the second hand or the minute hand a lot better now. Yeah, that's better. So now if this works, then that's good. If not, then there's something inside that I did wrong that's not allowing that to work properly. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to 6 o'clock and see if that lines up. It's a little off. Well, maybe not. Okay, there we go. That's better. Perfect. All right, that works. Now let's get this junk out of the way. Let's put this bezel back on. And there you go. Waltham, 1906. Model 1883. And it's kind of a silver, I don't even know if that's silver. I don't think that's silver. I think it's nickel. But anyway, shined up real nice. And then once I get a crystal, then we will do that. And I'll show you that too. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next resto. Cheers.